Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm going to be bringing you Elementalist. I've been trying this out. Normally I'd be bringing Mesmer, but I wanted a different class to play with that had high mobility, had a lot of versatility, did okay damage. In general, just was a very well-rounded character for certain situations. I could just respec, and if I needed to be, I could be like a tanky healing uh, support for like mid, like a bunker kinda, and then if I want to, I could be glass cannon, or I can be like a medium, run of the, like, I have to work twice as hard. It's a very good build, but I feel Elementalist is just lacking in general. No matter how you build it, it's just not up to par with other classes as far as risk versus reward. But this build is really, really good. I've had a lot of success in tournaments with it. 5v5, it's just managing the cooldowns and managing your attunement changes. So what I've been doing lately is I've been using my Red to Lightning Renin, and this is a Dagger, by the way. So pop these, and now I messed up the rotation there because I'm not actually thinking about it. So then I'll have to do this, pop this, and then Red to Lightning in, and it's just about keeping distance, keeping your distance from someone, getting hits in when you can, and then swapping back, Red Lightning again, get a couple of hits, dodging out of the way, just keeping your viability up, getting your combo fields to get extra might. As you can see, I have 10 stacks of might on this build, and I'm not even in the fire tree at all. In a real PvP situation, it's a little bit easier to do it than it is on these bots, because the bots act the same way almost every time, and you can like spam your skills more. You don't have to think about it as much. In real PvP, you'll be thinking about, you'll have to adjust your turns and whatnot if they try running past you, using their dodge skills, their evasions, their cooldowns, so you have to manage your attunements based on what your enemy's buffs are, what's around you, what kind of enemies are around you. But this build puts out a very good amount of damage, has high mobility, has good survivability, and I'm going to show you the actual core of the build. As you can see, I have 1839 power. Not the greatest, but it's enough to get the job done. And actually, might I note that you can pretty much solo anyone now with this build. I think the hardest thing for me to beat is a Necromancer, believe it or not, just because all the conditions, even though you have decent condition removal, they can just keep stealing your conditions off their teammates that you put on them and swinging them back to you and debuffing the crap out of you. But that's probably the hardest class. This actually takes down almost any Guardian pretty easily. It keeps away from your spirit weapons because you're just constantly zipping around, so they're always like away from you when you're doing it. So it helps. Anyways, power, 1839, not the greatest, but good. Precision, 1456. You're probably asking, why don't you just go high power, high crit, and be done with it? You get that really big burst damage. And the answer for that is, you don't need that. You honestly don't need that on the Elementalist to be effective and good at what you do. You do need to be able to survive. So, with the precision, I'm at 30% chance to crit. Well, the way I'm spec'd every time I even change attunement, I'm at 50% crit. And usually, most fights, I am not in an attunement for very long. So when you take that into account, I have roughly like an 80% uptime on having 20% extra chance to crit. So I'm at, 80% of the time I'm at 50% chance to crit, which is great. So then, that's just enough precision to use my boons to get me what I need. Plus I get Fury when I use different auras as well. So like when I use my Shocking Aura, you can see I get even more Fury. So having that, there's no point in speccing so high into precision to get lower amount of returns than you can if you build a little bit more balanced, a little bit more normalized, so to speak. Toughness 1485. Um, I primarily do this just because it keeps the burst damage. It lowers it by a good amount compared to like normal. Just in general, you're not super squish. I mean, you still take a lot of damage, but you don't take enough unless they like super like a warrior frenzy 100 blades you. And actually, you can survive a pistol whip or react in time. You know, have enough health to react to it if you do happen to get hit by 100 blades or a pistol whip thief. You know, you do have enough time to react if you have your cooldowns, and you'll live. And if you do swap into water form, you know, you get a little bit of regen, you get some heals, you get a cleanse here, and you get a heal here that does some damage, and you can also pop your frozen burst, chill them, and run away. Well, it helps, and there will be times that you will just be able to survive just by managing your attunements and keeping up your regens, your buffs, and healing. So I like that. It's phenomenal for what it does. It's a good roamer. It doesn't have like super high damage, but it, like I said, it does its job. And Vitality has high Vitality, almost 19k health. I figure that's a good buffer. I've tried it with 15k health and a higher toughness. It works as well. I'll probably be releasing that build some sooner or later, probably within the next week. Anyways, we'll get down into the nitty-gritty of it. So here for the armor, I'm running a light helmet. I'm using Eagle runes, right? So I have my precision, I'm getting some critical damage, and I'm getting 5% extra damage with people less than 50% health. Great. You know, it gives me enough precision to get to what I need, 165. So that puts me right at the 50% mark when I have Fury up. For weapons, I'm running the Sigil Superior Battle, 3 stacks of might with a 9-second internal cooldown. So basically every time, say you swap to fire, by the time fire comes off cooldown, for the most part, it's back up. And you're already swapping, so you keep permanent might stacks, and it just gets higher and higher as you go. And the longer the fight goes on, the stronger you get. Especially if you're zipping around a lot, bouncing around, getting buffs from other people, and then as well as using your combo ring fire, like any of your combo field fires, and then using your arcane wave. Instantly gives you 3 stacks of might, and then when in combat you get another 3 stacks of might, so that immediately gives you 6 stacks of might to deal with, plus the fire stack when you swap into it. So you get a lot of power just from using your might stacks and using your might rotations. So I'm running the in-combat might, and I'm running 5% damage on the offhand. Since this accounts for both of your skills, for both weapons on your skills, that's an extra 5% damage to everything you do. And then here, I'm running a Soldier's Amulet because I wanted some power. I wanted toughness. I wanted to be able to survive. And I wanted vitality. I mean, I want health. I want to be able to have a little bit of tankiness. See, if I just take this off, I'll show it to you right now. So if I take this off and I go with something with a lower vitality, say I wanted condition damage, which I would probably run this instead, but in general, I'll just use this. Apparently I'm in combat because some douche aggroed the warrior and I got hit with the random AoE. So once I get out of combat, I can show you that. Anyway, so, I mean, for the jewel, I'm running on Berserkers. Why? For the extra power, the precision, and vitality, and a little bit of crit damage. A little bit of crit damage goes a long way. Not much, but you can see with the traits I have 43% extra crit damage. That works very well. And then for traits, I'm going to go 30 into air, mainly because I want that precision. And my other builds go deep into Earth and Arcana, but this one is just mainly here for the crit and crit damage. Like these traits, I honestly could care less. I could actually play this build exactly the same just by removing all the traits. I wouldn't need any of them. So here we have Zephyr's Boon running auras, grant fury, and swiftness when applied. So a nice little trick I learned is to put Frost Aura on autocast. So every time you swap in, that's one less button you have to hit. And obviously it's just there for the swiftness and fury. So And you got your other heals. You know, you're just using the heals and maybe the chill every once in a while in this build. So you don't need anything other than just swapping to that for the aura to get your fury, swiftness, and getting out of it. Um, and it actually does work quite well in a real combat situation. So, I mean, you got your discharge. It does okay damage. And then you got your glyphs. I've used the glyph just for this healing glyph. Plus, after the last patch, they kind of fixed this so it has a lower cooldown as well. So, I mean, just having a 20-second on your heal is, you know, let's face it, Elementalists have massive cooldowns on their heals. And then grounded, 20% more damage when they're to knock down and stunned. This isn't as good as it seems, but it does count in with your Earthquake, and then, say, doing a quick Ring of Earth while they're down. The thing you have to know, though, is that Updraft does not count as a knockdown or stun. So you're not getting damage off a bonus amount to damage when that happens. Even though the target is knocked down, you're not getting the damage bonus for that. So you have to keep that in mind. So if you have someone on your team that has a good, reliable knockdown and knocks down frequently, you know, it's just extra damage when you need it. Like I said, I don't use air magic for the traits itself. I just use it for the precision and the critical damage. Water magic, I'm running 20 in the water for health and a little bit of healing, but mainly for the 2k health. So I'm running Cleansing Wave because it's a must. You have to have Cleansing Wave. And then Soothing Disruption. Cantrips regenerate and give you vigor. So, Misform, Cleansing Fire, both cantrips. Free regeneration, free vigor. Allows you to dodge, allows you to keep in a fight. And vigor recharges your endurance, by the way, if you do not know. So it allows you to dodge more. So you can see how fast I regenerate now. So now I can dodge roughly 10, a lot more, just so much more. I can dodge, get away. See how slow the bar is refilling now the vigor wore off down here? Yeah. It's completely different. So you can see the recharge here. Now watch the recharge now. See how much faster it is? It allows you to get away, allows you to dodge a bit more. It's just really good. But the healing ripple, the extra regen is where you really want it. Because swapping between attunements and being able to just pop in the water, put off a couple quick heals, heal your nearby allies, and when you swap in, you know, you remove conditions. It's kind of like a must. And then I take 20 in Arcane. Boon duration's nice. This is the number one reason, though. Your 2-minute recharge rate is reduced by 40%. This puts it down to roughly a 10-second cooldown. It says 11, but it's like 10.6 or something. It just rounds up the actual number on the little icon here when I'm showing the cooldown timers. But it's enough that it is manageable. So when you take that into account, it lowers it enough that when you need it, it's usually up. It just allows faster rotation, more damage output, because the faster you can get your skills off and in a good flow and keep your attunement swapping to keep your buffs up, your boons, and be able to keep that damage going is number one priority. So you want your attunement lowered. It'd be like if you're playing any other class and you could get 5 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds off your cooldown reduction for your weapon swap, who wouldn't take that? Because then you can swap weapons more often, you can do a little bit more damage. It's overall more damage output. So you want that. I don't think fire is that great of a trait. I mean, it has a couple of nice things in it, but let's face it, the way an Elementalist is built, you do not need that much power to get very good effectiveness. If you go too far into power and precision, you become too squishy. So, you know, that's a couple of things to take into mind. This is very well built around solo fights, team fights. It's overall, it's just a great setup. So I'm going to run an Elemental Attunement in this build just because, well, it just gives you free boons and it gives everybody around you free boons that's on your team. Why not take it? It's a great skill. Lingering elements. Attunement bonuses linger for 5 seconds. So that means, I mean, if I had actual attunement bonuses in this setup, it'd be even better, but it actually works for your Soothing Mist. So it makes your Soothing Mist, if it runs out while you're swapped, you still get that, as long as the little buff icon's up. So as you can see here, now it's starting to come off. You got 5 seconds. If this was the water, you see the Soothing Mist here, it's regenerating itself. So if I swap, I'm still getting the Soothing Mist. You'll see it come up until this water attunement goes away, and then it's going to count down and go away now. But it allows for your healing, your regen to be up more, and keep overall sustained incoming healing to yourself a little bit longer. And then here's the other one. This one is what makes the abilities in this build work, is because of how fast you can stack power with the 20% recharge. So because of the 9-second cooldown on your weapon, internal cooldown here on Superior Battle, plus the might you get from this, you know, that's 4 stacks. You'd be like, okay, that ain't that much. Well, that's 9 seconds to 4 stacks. And then you come over here, and you're like, oh, okay, hold on, I have 4 stacks, now I have 8 stacks. I mean, and then by the time those 8 stacks wear off, because, I mean, it's a long period of might, look at that, 16 seconds. You swap back over, you'll have 8, 10, 12. I've looked and I've had like 22 stacks of might before in a mid-combat, and when I hit that, whatever is around me usually just melted. The condition damage, I'm not really focusing on. I have a different build that's more for condition damage, but like I said, Necros have a field day with you when it comes to conditions. Another thing is there's so much condition removal in this game that it's almost pointless to go deep into condition damage because of how much condition removal there is. So I removed all my condition damage. I had a couple of builds that had like 11, anywhere from 8 to 1200 condition damage, and while in theory it was nice, and on random noobs and 8v8, it did its job, not in tournament play as much. So I lowered my burning damage. I mean, it's still high amount of burning damage. It's still good damage. Still a little bit of consistency. And your bleeds, you know, it does okay. I mean, it's not major anymore. Like, this isn't 6k anymore. The other isn't like 7500, but you get more damage and more out of your build by going power. And it actually keeps you alive because, like I said, the Necro just can't take all your boons or conditions that you put on his team and throw all that damage back on you, which it wouldn't matter what you do except for cleansing yourself, that you would kill yourself off with just the amount of damage you put on an entire team with that. So when you take that into account, you know, it's a little bit safer route for not killing yourself. And for the rest of it, like it's just you want that upfront damage, but you want the stacking, you want the toughness, you want the survivability, you want the health, and you want the cooldown. And I will go ahead and say it right now that anybody that doesn't take 20 and at least 20 into Arcane is probably not very bright, because you need that. Like, if you stay in one attunement for too long, you're literally making your damage 1/4 of what it could be. And that's just stupid. Why not maximize the potential? Alright guys, so I'm out. I hope you guys enjoy this build. I'll be posting some gameplay videos of it probably. I'm going to do some recording of it tonight, and I'll be posting them probably tomorrow. So you guys